He collects all things. He is the collector of all things.
Hello everyone, this is Collector of All Things, and today I'd like to share with you one of my watches from my collection. This one is the newest addition to my watch collection. This is actually, we'll lift it up right here, a Hamilton. And I came across this one while I was researching watches, and when I saw it, I found it was a spectacularly looking watch. Here, I'll give you an idea what it looks like. We'll open it up. Look at that. Just beautiful. Let's pull it out and really get a look at what this looks like right here. We'll take it off. So look at this. This is gorgeous. Look at that beautiful dial, that silver dial that catches the light. Just, it's spectacular. So I've been aware of Hamilton watches for quite some time, and you know, I've even thought of owning one. I really like their X-Wine and their X-Pilot because I love the position of the crown. If you actually know that watch, they have basically this part here that turns. They have them on all over the sides of the watch, and I just thought it was such a unique design and really well made. I find Hamilton for the price is very hard to beat. They're very well made watches, and Hamilton has a very long history of making watches. They've been around since 1892. They were an American watch brand, and they were known for making really high quality watches. They made everything in-house, all their manufacturing, their foundry and everything. And they were at the height of quality for a very long time. And they were American. Today with watches, we associate high quality with Swiss-made watches. And there are some beautiful German-made watches too. But when we think about them, we don't normally think of the American brands as being high quality. But Hamilton, for a very long time, was at the top of quality when it came to watches, specifically like pocket watches and wrist watches. So Hamilton being around since 1892, you know, you can say they have a very long history, and they made watches in the United States for a very long time. And they were actually in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They actually even go back further than that. They actually bought a company called Keystone Standard Watch Company, which actually came out in 1886. And then when they took them over, they were the Hamilton Watch Company. And Hamilton, what they eventually did was they did purchase a Swiss company, Buren. And from that point on, they started making watches in Switzerland. And as I mentioned today, that you know, we equate quality in watches to Swiss made. So it was in 1966 they acquired the Buren Watch Company, and they started moving factories over to you know, Switzerland, and started manufacturing. Well, actually they had the factories, they just tooled them from them and started making their watches with Swiss movements. So they became an American watch company with a Swiss movement, and eventually they ended all manufacturing in Lancaster, and everything became Swiss made at that point. And with the addition of Buren into their family, if you want to call it, it gave them more access to designs and to movements, and they eventually, brings me to this watch. It's a great lead into this watch. This watch is a chronograph. So a chronograph has these little windows inside it. A chronograph has more than one function, where it doesn't just tell the time as a standard time with your hour hands and your minute hand. But it also has subdials, so you can do timing events on it. And just to give you an idea, if I press this right here, you'll see that the second hand will start moving. And that's actually like a stopwatch. So it's actually timing right now. If I stop it, I can, you know, record my time, or I can actually reset it back. And if I let it go long enough, the subdial here will start counting how many minutes, up to 30 minutes. And over here is my second hand. So on a standard watch, when you're looking at a three-hand watch, as they call it, your second hand would be the hand that moves with your timer, and you wouldn't have these subdials. But on a chronograph, the subdial is your second hand. So as you see, no second hand is moving. It's this little one that's going right here. And you have that beautiful sweeping motion because this is an automatic. Okay. So this is an automatic chronograph. And this is actually I want to say a homage, but it's actually a modern version of Hamilton's own original Pan Europ that came out in 1971. And it was one of the first watches to have an automatic chronograph that was released, because before that, chronographs were manual wound. This one now gave the addition the ability to have an automatic movement. So you have the rotor on the back here, that when the rotor spins, what they mean by automatic is with the movement of your hand, you see the rotor is moving, it actually winds the watch. So as long as you're wearing this watch, it'll charge up the power of it. So this was one of the first ones. And this was actually a joint venture. So this was with the Europ company, the familiar Tag Heuer, but before they were Tag Heuer, they were Heuer. There's the Europ company, Hamilton Buren, who was a company. You had Brett Lane and Dubois des Pras. I hope I'm saying that properly. They were a joint venture between those companies to come up with this revolutionary new movement that they called the Caliber 11. And it was a unique movement at the time, and it did actually have the crown on the other side over here. Because of the way the movement was laid out inside the watch. Now, this one is the modern version of the Pan Europ, and it is just stunning. It is beautiful. So one thing that drew me to watches, of course, I get drawn in by the way the watches look. So I love the look. I love that silver dial right there. I do have to mention that they did come out with a version in 2011, which was the anniversary version of that 1971 version, and it was blue because the original one was blue, and it quickly sold out. It's a collector's item. And then they came out with this version a year later in 2012 up until now that has either a black face or this beautiful silver face. And this one just speaks to me. When I saw it, I could not believe how beautiful this is as a watch. And what I also like about it is obviously the heritage of being one of the first chronograph movements ever. Not that this one is the modern version. But what I do love is that Hamilton didn't just go there. This is what they call an ETA movement. So this is based on a 7753 Valjoux movement, but it's been modified. And, they've changed the mainspring to make it be able to take a much better power reserve. Normally the power reserve on these watches is about 44 hours. This one, they say, goes up to 60 hours. And I have to attest that right now I've been getting incredible accuracy. And I haven't had yet a problem with anything slowing down or anything. It seems to really hold its charge very well. The other thing too is that they've decorated the movement in a very nice way. It might be hard here. I'm trying to focus it in, but of course you have the signed rotor, Hamilton. It's beautiful. It's a 27 jewel movement, and inside it's hard to see too. I can't get it into the camera. Sorry about that. I'm trying to focus it in here, but the actual crown is signed with little H's representing Hamilton. And they dubbed this the H31 caliber, the caliber H31. And it's a unique movement to Hamilton from ETA. And because ETA is owned by the Swatch Group, and Hamilton was purchased by the Swatch Group when it was the Omega Tissot Holding Company, they purchased the Hamilton brand in the 80s that they did that. And then they eventually, as they brought in more brands, they became the massive conglomerate that they are today. So ETA being in the Swatch Group and Hamilton being in the Swatch Group, you can almost argue that this is an in-house movement. So it's a unique movement to the brand. They are able to do so much because of the power that they have. And look at this strap. I mean, the quality, I'm thinking of changing the strap. I actually think of putting on a NATO, because this version, they do have the 3-hand version that, so basically the one without the subdials, that's on a NATO strap. So I've ordered a NATO strap. I've ordered the famous James Bond NATO strap, because James Bond famously wore a Rolex on a NATO strap in one of his movies. So they call it the James Bond NATO. So I've ordered one of those, and I'm curious to see what it's going to look like on it. But really right now, I cannot fault this strap. I mean, it's very nice. It does fit the watch. It does have Hamilton written on the clasp. And it's a very nice, it says right here, handcrafted leather. Very nice Hamilton. Very nice strap. But I'm very curious to see what this is going to look like on a NATO. I'm pretty excited about it. And just a beautiful watch. I think that this is just a beautiful, unique piece. The history behind it. Normally, I don't go into full the history, but when I get into something like this, I do like looking at the history and knowing the whole background of it. And I just find knowing the background of this adds to the mystique or the fun of it. Anyways, I cannot recommend this watch more. Definitely, if you've looked at it if you've been curious about it and you want it, or if you just found out about it now, this is just a stunning, beautiful watch. And if you're thinking about Hamilton as a brand, of course, I don't own multiple Hamiltons. I've seen a couple in person. I've actually handled a couple, but this is my first foray into Hamilton. And I have to say that I'm very pleased with this watch. I mean, definitely for the price that it costs, having this unique to brand movement and everything that they did to it. I think they've done just an incredible job with it. All the pushers, everything, the winding action, it's great. This is just very, very, I'm just really enjoying it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look. Thank you for sticking around. A little bit longer video than I normally do, but I wanted to really discuss the history and the brand itself, because I think it's a really nice brand. Even though they're now part of the Swatch Group, I think that's even better, because they have access to a lot more engineering and capability, and they can come up with these beautiful watches at a really great value and a really great price. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please don't forget to add a little like onto the video. And for all my subscribers, really, really thank you very much. I appreciate you subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos. If you have any comments, definitely leave them in the comments. I love reading the comments. If I can, I'll get back to you as soon as I can if you have any questions. And again, I really, I hope you enjoyed this review. So have yourself an amazing day.